Ever read a poem and wondered, who was this written about? What happened? Were, were they heartbroken? Were they in love? I get those questions all the time. So people read one of my poems and assume it's my life, my story, my heartbreak. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're completely wrong. And that's what I love about poetry. The truth is, poetry isn't always about yourselves or about the writer. Sometimes it's a memory. Sometimes it's an imagination. Sometimes it's a conversation I overheard in a coffee shop. Sometimes it's someone who shared their pain. He shared their pain with me and trusted me enough to carry a piece of it. Sometimes it's about a stranger I'll never see again. And sometimes it's every one of us. I've always believed that poetry isn't about explaining your life. It's about helping someone understand theirs. People ask me where my ideas come from. Honestly, everywhere. A walk, a song, a sunrise, a quiet drive, a conversation that lasted 5 minutes but stayed with me for 5 years. A smile, sometimes, a goodbye, a child laughing, an old couple holding hands. I love that, very inspirational. Someone sitting alone. Life is constantly writing poetry. I'm just paying attention. Some of my poems come to me in minutes. It's like they were already written and somewhere and simply waiting for me to put them on paper. Others I've wrestled with for days, changing one word, moving one sentence, deleting half of it because it just didn't feel honest enough. People often think writing poetry is about finding beautiful words. For me, it's about finding truthful ones, because beautiful words without truth don't last. Truth does. One thing people might not realize is that once I publish a poem, it no longer belongs to me. That's how I feel. It belongs to the reader. I've had a couple of people tell me a poem that I wrote reminded them of their father. Someone else said the exact same poem reminded them of losing their wife. Another person read it, they read hope into it. Someone else read heartbreak. The same poem, different lives. That's the magic of words. We don't all read with the same eyes. We read through our experiences, through our scars, through our healing. And that's exactly why I never tell people what a poem is supposed to mean. If I helped you, then that's what matters. I've always learned something about vulnerability. People sometimes say you're brave for writing like that, but I don't really think of it as bravery. I think of it as honesty. Because if I'm asking readers to open their hearts, I have to be willing to open mine. Not every poem comes from happiness. Some were written on a difficult days. Some came from grief. Some came from questions I didn't have the answers to. Some came from hope I was still searching for. Writing has never meant I have life figured out. It's not about that. It simply means I'm willing to explore it. And maybe that's why so many people connect with poetry, not because it solves problems, but because it reminds us we're not facing them alone. My books are really collections of those moments, pieces of life, pieces of people, pieces of me, and maybe pieces of you too. If you've ever wondered whether a poem changed someone's life, I can tell you this. I've received messages, most of them private, from people who said one paragraph gave them strength to keep going. One sentence helped them forgive. One poem reminded them they were worthy of love again. That's something I'll never take for granted. So when I sit down to write, I don't always think about going viral. It's not about that. I'm not thinking about going viral or how many likes or how many. I don't do that. I don't think about the numbers. I don't think about the algorithms. I think about one person. Someone I've never met, someone who might open one of my books or read one of my quotes or one of my one-liners on my platforms or come across one of my poems at exactly the moment they needed it. If my words can make someone feel a little less alone, then every poem has already done its job. Because poetry isn't really about me. It never was. It's about reminding people that whatever they're feeling, someone, somewhere has felt it too. And maybe that's why poetry has survived for centuries, because long after people forget our names, they'll always remember how words made them feel. And I love that. Thank you. School.